The historic Indianapolis City Market has temporarily closed down here in downtown Indianapolis, Indiana. The market is now shut down for an over 2-year period, during which the block will be a construction zone as a new high-rise will be built right next to it. The east wing of the market, which was added in the 1980s, will be torn down to make room for an 11-story tower that will have a lot of different office and retail space, as well as 60 apartment units. In fact, it is expected that this block will have the capacity for the highest population density in the state once it is completed. But thankfully, the historic 19th century market structure will remain and is expected to reopen with its original function in mind sometime in 2026. The city market has been the main public marketplace of Indianapolis for around 2 centuries. This edifice was completed in 1886 and was designed by Dietrich Bohlen, a member of the city's large German immigrant population. It looks like there will be a glass enclosed vendor space here on the east side in front of the new tower. The city market will be a privately operated venture after reopening. Alright, this is what the inside looked like just before shutting down for the significant revamp. I am not so sure that the city market has been as frequented or popular in recent decades compared to the past. In my experience, it has always seemed a bit empty with most merchants closed, but on this last visit I was pleasantly surprised to see that several were still open for business just 4 days before the market closed on March 1st, 2024. Sadly, some of these businesses are permanently closing with the markets. Most of the vendors were understandably dismayed by the somewhat sudden eviction, especially since some of these businesses like Just Cookies had been here for over 30 years. Some may come back, but I imagine it will be quite a bit different come 2026. Hopefully this Indianapolis staple will become more popular and appreciated with the changes. The interior is fantastic with the wrought iron columns and trusses in this large open space. You can see they were cast here in Indianapolis at a German-owned foundry. This plaque mentions that this area was long intended as the market district of Indiana's capital city. It was deemed so under urban planner Alexander Ralston's 1821 plan for the city. By the way, Ralston had trained under Pierre-Charles L'Enfant, who designed Washington, D.C., hence Indianapolis has a reminiscent design with lots of avenues. So there were more primitive market stalls at this site around the mid-19th century, until they were replaced by this structure. So it seemed to be quiet but about the same as usual here at the end of a nearly 150-year-long chapter in the market's history as a city-owned public marketplace. Another casualty of the redevelopment project will be the gold building behind the city market, whose exterior will be altered so it's less shiny, so bye-bye Gold Cube. Just outside the west side of the city market, there is a mysterious standalone archway. This is a surviving remnant of Tomlinson Hall, a public meeting house that was built alongside the city market, also designed by Bohlen and opened in 1886. Lots of events were held in the hall over the years, including some headlining General William Sherman, President Benjamin Harrison, John Philip Sousa, and even Rudolph Valentino. Sadly, it fell into severe disrepair and caught on fire in 1958. The rest of the hall was demolished after some controversy, so that's pretty sad. But this archway is not all that's left. Believe it or not, the city market has catacombs. That's right, there are a series of underground passageways underneath the market and the former Tomlinson Hall. Indiana Landmarks would occasionally host tours through the catacombs, but those are indefinitely suspended for now. Another colossal symbol of the city once stood near the city market, known as the Market Square Arena. The classic 70s sports arena has a peculiar place in history as the venue for Elvis Presley's final concert. On the evening of June 26, 1977, the King of Rock and Roll sang here in Indianapolis for what ended up being the last time. Despite his poor health and the evident fatigue that characterized his final years, Elvis reportedly had even more energy and enthusiasm than usual at this concert. Some say it's almost as if he knew it would be his last. Of course, when it came to singing, he was still giving it his all. In Indy, Elvis wore his Aztec sun jumpsuit, a really unique outfit that is usually on display at Graceland. Tragically, the Indianapolis concert would end up being his final public performance, as he passed away on August 16th, about a month and a half after playing here in Indianapolis. He was scheduled to perform in Portland, Maine on the day he died. This monument now stands on the former site of the Market Square Arena, which was imploded in 2001 to make room for a new arena. It is definitely sad to see this old footage of the sacred space being blown up, but the structure was deemed to be extremely unstable by the late 90s. That is what a ticket to the concert looked like. About 18,000 lucky fans showed up for the concert, not knowing that it would be the last ever chance to see the legend in action. And there's apparently a scarf that was given out by Elvis at that concert encased inside this monument. I really wish they would remove that precious historical artifact, conserve it and display it at some museum, instead of keeping it in a box on the streets. I have now walked a few blocks down to the center of the city at Monument Circle to find another little-known Elvis tribute. One block south on Meridian Street, there are lots of engraved bricks on the sidewalk, and if you look really closely, you can find a brick dedicated to Elvis Presley himself, here in the last city to be publicly graced by his talents.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has left the building.
This here is the Soldiers and Sailors Monument, one of the largest war memorials in the country, topping out at 284.5 feet. It's only 15 feet shorter than the Statue of Liberty. While here in downtown Indianapolis, I did get to stop into the Columbia Club, a storied exclusive hotel and clubhouse, so check out my video on that if you're interested. Anyways, thank you for joining me on this little tour of the city market as it looked just days before closing for a major renovation. It will be interesting to see how this $200 million market campus turns out. Again, it is scheduled to be completed sometime in 2026. Please consider checking out my other videos featuring historic locations, city tours, museums, roadside attractions, and much more here in the Indianapolis area, as well as across America and Europe. Also, please make sure to like the video, share it, and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching!